Welcome to the Alternative Dog Moms Podcast. I'm Kimberly Gauthier, creator of Keep the Tail Wagging. I've been blogging about raw feeding, pet wellness, and life as a crazy dog mom for more than 10 years. I've seen massive improvements in my dog's health since I began raising my dogs naturally, and I'm passionate about sharing my experience to help other pet parents.
I'm Erin Scott from the Believe in Dog podcast. For more than 10 years, I've been researching and learning everything I can about healing cancer, allergies, autoimmune, and mystery illnesses in both my dogs and myself. And I can't wait to share with you everything I've learned in case it could help you too. As the Alternative Dog Moms, Kimberly and I are bringing you all the latest dog health news that we're following and the brilliant people we're meeting along the way. Now let's get started. Hello, Kimberly.
Hello, Erin.
It's good to see ya.
I know. Yay, me.
So, oh my God, you have an injury.
I know.
I'm so sorry.
I was playing with Zoe, my old girl, and she's a rough player, and she punched me in the eye. And I, for the first time, have a big blood blister, or I mean, I guess it's a, I don't know what I don't know
Blood
what
vessel.
vessel, yeah,
Blood vessel. Yeah.
and yeah, it's basically a bruise on my eyeball. It doesn't hurt. It just sometimes feels like there's something in my eye.
Because
And
there's something in your eye.
yeah. And I have to be careful about how I sleep on it because this is the side I sleep on, and it's just, it doesn't feel good. So I kind of have a low grade sinus headache.
Did you have to go to the doctor?
I didn't, because I figure, it wasn't really hurting and it wasn't running or anything, and it seems to be going through its stages. But I figure if it got to a point where it seemed to be a problem, I would go to the doctor. I probably should have, but I didn't.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen people have that before, but I think anything with my eye would freak me out, man.
I've seen people, and I've always wondered, it's like, what did you do? Like, my friend was asking me, she's like, were you lifting weights? I'm like, I know, I wish. And it's like, nope, just playing with my dog.
And you're old gal at that.
I know. I'm actually surprised. I thought I was going to get a black eye because she got me good. And it was just with her paw. And it's like, and so I had a couple scratches on my cheek, and then she got my eye.
Neno did give Tim a black eye one time. He headbutted him and,
Yeah. Like the dangers of having a dog.
I know. Especially with a big old head.
Yes. So it was just like, oh man. Yeah. I knew immediately, it's like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh. So yeah. So, but it's slowly going through. It's basically, a bruise. And so it's supposed to get bigger before it gets smaller, and then it's going to start changing colors. So it got bigger. I think, no, it's 2 days ago. So yesterday it was bigger. And then today it's starting to change colors. So it's fading away, but it'll probably be here for a couple weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself.
I know. How are you?
Oh, I'm not injured.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster over here with Neno lately, but for the most part, I think everything's okay now.
Yeah.
He's had a lump kind of in the area of where his hind leg meets his body, kind of in that fold. And our vet saw it a couple months ago, and she was pretty sure it was a lipoma, and she just wanted to keep an eye on it. And suddenly he developed this red area around it that didn't seem to be itching him, but looked very strange. I almost thought it looked like a ringworm. It was very circular. It was kind of raised around the edges. And she got very concerned, my vet, that it could be something like mast cell. And so we had this sort of scary time. Well, it turned out that it's just, quote unquote, just a staph infection. And I had tried several more natural alternatives, but nothing was touching it. But we did have to use some topical antibiotic ointment, and it went right away. And the lump does not seem to be changed or anything. It was just very strange and weird that he got this staph infection next to where the lump is. It was just more coincidence than the two being related, it seems.
Oh.
So while all that was going on, it was the week that it was extremely cold here, and after a snowfall, and we had ice spots, and then poor Nino slipped on the ice and started limping. And of course, I'm immediately spiraling that, oh my
Bone
God, he's like
cancer.
blown a CCL, or yeah, I even had the thought, because the same leg as where this whole injury, like the staph infection thing is. And so now, yeah, I'm like, oh my God, like, is this bone cancer? I was spiraling a little bit, I will admit. And it turns out that my poor guy, he pulled a groin muscle. It's like the thigh adductor muscle. And so because of that, he offloads weight onto his front leg, and it's the front leg where he already has the bicep tendonitis. So then it's like he was lipping on his front and his back, and he's just like,
Oh, poor guy.
you know, and I'm like, oh, my poor guy. But we've been to the chiropractor, we've been to the vet, we got some Ligaplex, we are doing massage, we're doing our red light, we're doing arnica, and she actually did say it's good to move, so he is still getting just 1 walk a day. We did do 2 walks, which is like our normal, and that was too much walking in 1 day for him. So 1 walk a day is good for him right now, and he's noticeably better. Like, you'd have to look really hard. Like, if you didn't know him, you'd be like, "Oh, he's fine." But, like, I know him, so I know it's a little off. But anyways, like, kinda all of that was going on, like, at the same time, and the same week that Tim's car ended up in the shop, and it was not a good week. I think that was the week when I was like, "We're gonna have to do a replay this week."
Yeah. I'm looking. Every time you say something, I have to look in the book, which we'll get to soon. But we are updating our home.
Oh,
And
you guys are always doing home projects.
yes, and we're really getting into it. I mean, it started in 2020 when we were at home. But then Johann I mean, that was when he had his own business, so he had to work. So he wasn't able to finish the laundry room until I think it was like early last year, where he finally finished the laundry room. And then we painted the kitchen, painted the walls, like all, like in this room, this used to be red. So we painted all the walls and the trim and all these things that we did this past summer. And we decided this year we are going to work on upstairs. So we started with, since, we were waiting, we didn't want to do any type of work until after Cosmo passed. And since he passed, we gave it a little time so I can be sad. And then Johann ripped out all the carpet from the hallway and the room we called it, the cat room. And we just started cleaning. And so the cat room is now going to be my home office. And Johann and I use different bathrooms because apparently I have so much stuff that it's like I'm a teenage girl.
That would be my dream, to have separate bathrooms, let me tell you.
I know, I wanted to be offended, but I just love having my own
And
bathroom.
honestly, it's because of all of Tim's beard care equipment.
So we're doing my bathroom. And so I suspect that, you know how they have like all the things that lead to divorce? I suspect that
Home renovation?
home improvements is one of
I
those
think you're
things.
right.
Because he has a vision of what he wants the house to look like. And he wants to include me because this is our home. But my role is just to go, that's a great idea. I love it. Oh my God, this looks great. Because whenever I deviate from that script, oh, fireworks, the bad kind, the kind that scare the dogs happen. And I deviated because in my bathroom, I wanted a different shower door than what he wanted. And I wanted different wall colors than what he wanted. Ultimately, we ended up, it took a week, but we ended up settling. I got my wall color because I basically texted his mom and just said, this is what I want to do. And she said it was a great idea. And then I just looked at him and was like, there you go. And then
Dragging the
she,
mom into it.
yes, I've done it a few times. Because I mean, because she comes over and she checks the progress, and I know like there are things that he's done that I don't want him to do, and I just sort of like, well, and remember, he did this too, and then just let her have it. Where she's like, that doesn't make any sense to me, and I just quietly leave. But but he ended up getting the shower doors that he had in mind, but it was a different brand. And then he let me pick everything else out. So it's a give and take. And so yeah, it's fun. But it's funny because when we started a couple weeks ago, and the noise of, because he has all of his tools upstairs and cutting wood and doing all these things. Bella was losing her mind. I mean, she
Aw.
was just basically, and it's like if I wasn't home, he said that she was just basically downstairs shaking like a leaf. It was just like
Aw.
horrifying. But as time went on, none of the dogs like the air compressor, which runs the equipment.
Of course.
But Apollo is the most unbothered or the least bothered. And whereas Bella and Zoe just aren't fans. Zoe's kind of wants to just crawl into my lap and it's just like but I've give them lots of, what is it called, comfort and love and all of that stuff, but then it's like I have to work. I can't work with you crawling into my lap. I have to work. And over time they've sort of settled down. The noise has settled down as well too. I think it'll probably start up again because we have to do flooring, and then there's going to be we're replacing carpet, so there's going to be people coming in to replace the carpet. So that's going to be noise as well. But I figured, it's temporary. It's not permanent. So they'll get over it. This book is truly gorgeous.
Yes, yes, yes. The Herbal dog is out today. I just got it from Amazon.
Yep. I met the Amazon guy outside. He was like setting it down on the porch to take a picture, and I like yanked it up, and I was like,
I'll
"Oh,
take that.
I'm sorry. Here you go. Take your picture." And then I grabbed it and ran in the house.
So, yes, congratulations to Rita Hogan, man. It's a
This is
beautiful book.
gorgeous. It is a truly gorgeous book. I had no idea what to expect, but I am looking forward to diving deep into this. It like the index is there's so much, but groin injury and what was the other one? Staph infection were not in the index. So that's
Well, I
why.
think you could put it under, like, muscular skeletal or my poor old guy. Yeah.
But, oh, there's a part for lipomas. Nice. I'm, like, really looking forward to diving into this. I have so much work to do. My day job is taking over my life because for people who don't know, I am an accountant, and this is getting everything ready for tax season.
Yep.
And basically what I do in my job is look at the past 12 months and fix things. Thankfully, I've done most of my fixing through the year, so it's not as bad as it could be, but it's still a lot. And I'm so tired. But weirdly, I actually really enjoy my job. Oh my god. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to diving into this book. It was kind of cool seeing everyone posting their copies of the book.
Yeah.
That's so sweet, and I mean, I think a lot of people were really, really excited about this. What cracks me up, and just in a good way, is how dense it is. I don't know what I was expecting, but this is beautiful. There's so much information in here.
Like, I love the chapter already that's called "Everything is Connected." It's in the beginning of the book, and it just is really going into, like, the vagus nerve and the gut-brain axis and how the different systems interact with each other, like, I also love how much it talks about she calls it cofactors, but, if
Oh,
your
yeah.
dog is yeasty and has these types of other symptoms that go with it, it's, warm. If it has these types of symptoms that go with it, it's cool, and use these types of remedies if they're cool, these types if they're warm, and there's so many different options and so many different things to try for every condition, and oh my god, I just love it so much.
Yeah.
It's very yes, very dense, like, I feel like, man, you get your money's worth, like
Yes, definitely. Well, no, what's so funny is it's not expensive.
No, not at
Be
all.
considering, I mean, to me, this is a book that would be,
Like, I'm gonna
I don't
use
know,
this for
like a
years
$30.
to cry.
Yeah, this is a $30 book, and I think was it $17?
Yeah, something like I pre-ordered it so long ago, I don't even know.
Yeah. I mean, it just like we've been waiting, it feels like for a year.
Even longer, I think, because she kinda teased it for a while, and then yeah, like, I feel like,
Yeah.
we've known about it for quite a while, and I'm so excited to hear how many more books that she has planned. And also, I'll put a link in the show notes. had her over on the Believe in Dog podcast. We had a totally different conversation than you and I
Nice.
had with her. We talked some about the history of herbs and plants being used as medicine. We talked about like how so many pharmaceutical drugs originated from plants and from herbs and yet you can use them without the side effects that come with
Mhm.
pharmaceutical drugs. And then we also dove into anxiety, like, herbs and different remedies to try for anxious dogs.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that for Bella. I mean, yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun.
And, I also just love that it includes, like, the monographs on each plant and each herb because, this is all somewhat new to me, and so like, I'm just gonna sit down and read like, this is why I barely watch television anymore because I have if I'm not editing a podcast, I'm reading something, I just have this whole stack of books everywhere. Tim's always saying our house is gonna collapse under the weight of books, and
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have 2 things to say. First, the section in the back, Appendix 5, food energetics, the number of foods she has, I have never seen a list this long, ever, and this is so exciting to see. It's amazing.
there's an appendix on supplements, and it lists all different supplements that you could possibly imagine and gives like how to dose them for each weight, what it's good
Yes.
for. Sometimes she even mentions like should you give it for warm dogs or cool dogs or what is the energetics of the supplement? Like this is just fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, yay. Humic and fulvic acid.
Yes, I just saw that.
Last week's episode.
Yeah.
And raw honey. I have Manuka honey on hand that I give to my dog, that I give to myself as well. But the other thing, and now I forgot what the other thing. Oh no, I saw a video and I meant to take a picture. I just wanted to take a picture or forward it to you, but something I got distracted and then couldn't find it again. But this person had a room that was floor to ceiling bookshelves, and all the books were organized in color by colors.
Oh, that would weird me out.
It was beautiful.
It sure is
So
aesthetically pleasing.
I'm sure I hope that it was because, like, this author just happened to have all their books in these shades of blue type of thing, because trying to find a book, it would be a nightmare.
Yeah, mine are organized more by subject matter, and Tim would say that they are not organized, but I know where things are.
Well, it depends on my books, I don't have a whole lot of books because once I was introduced to my Kindle, most of my books went into a storage box, but I will not get rid of them. My health books that I keep on hand that I use regularly are organized by size because it drives me crazy to have the up and
Mm.
down. And so I just happen to know what each book looks like. And so I just look for that book. And since there isn't a whole bunch of them, maybe 20 or
Oh,
so, it's just
I have
just
more
that's
than that.
I know you do. I I have more than that, but they're packed away. The ones that I use regularly though, which the Herbal Dog will go on the shelf. It's like I actually ran out of space and I have the Dr. Morgan's new book, The Yin and Yang 2.0. And then I got this really cool book. It's called The Holistic Home Apothecary,
Oh,
600 plus remedies. And
oh, wow.
I was searching for something else and this came through. Amazon recommended it. So I was like, why not? And that's all it is remedies on through. So I got that too. I just thought it would be fun to have. So those, I've actually don't have room on my bookshelf for these 3 books. So I have to move some stuff around to make room. But yeah, I thought it was so pretty because it's like when she was moving around, it's like, oh my gosh, every single wall in this room is floor to ceiling bookshelves. I would love that.
Yeah, that's the
Some
dream, man.
someday.
Living my dream. And Rita's also doing a book tour,
Tour, yes, she is.
and I know she's all up and down the West Coast, over the next couple months. I know I should be seeing her in Williamsburg over the summer, but she has a ton of West Coast dates coming up in the spring, so I'll make sure we have a link to that. And I think there's a book launch party going on today out in Chicago. Uh,
Nice.
so I'm very excited for her, and I can't wait until her next book, her whole series comes out. Like,
Yeah, it's a, and the cover is so absolutely beautiful.
so I actually asked her about the cover on my episode with her because I'm like, is it a pit bull? Like, and I guess her point was kind of like to make it more of like a generic type dog, because
Mhm.
that way everybody's like kind of seeing their dog in it.
Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense. I'm just really excited for her. I'm curious to know who's gonna come out with a book next. I need to stop buying books. I just So, Susan Thixton, did you see her article about the organ
yes.
department bag?
Yeah. Like, I don't know what to make of this whole avian flu thing. I've had some of my friends coming to me, just, friends in my personal life, like, "I've been feeding turkey, is that okay?" And, so I'm trying to send them all the information that I have, and I get frustrated with the world
Yes.
often. But one of the things, right, is that a headline like this will make the news all over the country. We'll all be inundated with this, in my opinion, fear mongering. And then all the details come out, but nobody ever corrects the
Yeah,
story. There's not a follow-up on the news the
no,
next night saying, "Oh, wait, there's a whole bunch of details about this."
no,
You never get, like, it's like when people read newspapers and someone would print a retraction and it's
at the
buried on the
back.
last page.
Yeah.
Yes, and nobody ever reads the retraction.
Yeah, the damage is done. I mean, it's just like, and it's so unnecessary because on one hand, okay, so you're scaring a ton of people, and then there's another group of people that just they already didn't trust you, and now they don't trust you even more. And so if there is an opportunity to help them, you've just lost it by misleading them, by not sharing. Because yeah, it's so frustrating because for me personally, I'm not concerned about the avian flu, but I am keeping an eye out. And it's kind of hard to keep an eye out when I have to filter through misinformation.
I mean, once again, we have to do all of our own research on
Yeah.
literally every single thing that's out there.
Yeah. I don't want to have to fact check every single person that throws information in front of me, but
And we
that's,
do. We're basically in this time where we do.
yeah, it's just really frustrating. So no one's asked me about well, they've online, but none of my local people are asking me about the Avian. I think they probably know how I kind of feel. It's like if you are concerned, then educate yourself. If you're not concerned, okay.
So my dad's birthday was yesterday, and we had a family gathering, this weekend, and you know, you just gotta love these parents that are trying to navigate the internet at their age, right? And my dad'll say, "Sometimes they put these headlines out there, and it's just to get people to click on them, and then there's no information, or else all the information was in the headline." And or sometimes, so my dad's like a big car guy, like like muscle cars and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
I grew up around a lot of old cars and things, and so he's like, "Yo, these car things, they'll post a picture of a '57 Chevy and be like, 'Look at this '55 Chevy,' and then, everybody's commenting, 'That's a '57 Chevy,' but they're just doing that because they want you to comment on it, and I don't
Yeah.
comment."
Oh my gosh. Your dad and I could talk about this for hours because, okay, so I'm a huge fan of Grey's Anatomy and Vampire Diaries, only up to a certain point because there's only one or a couple of shows that I'm a fan of the entire series. But anyway, I saw a post where and this is like a thing that people are doing where they'll do videos and they'll say, about, hey, this person has been married to da 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 da, and this is how their life is. And they're doing these little clips and stuff, but in the middle of it, they'll have like instead of I can't think of a, like, okay, so this isn't what I saw, but just like say it was supposed to be about Jennifer Lawrence, and then through the clips they throw in Jennifer Lopez and Jennifer Garner. And so of course everyone in the comments is like, yeah, you didn't use all the and everyone's like, yeah, your AI is broken. Yeah, da, da, da. But it's like they're getting hundreds of comments of people saying this. And I saw the same thing recently with Vampire Diaries, where it was like, oh, here's a test, and it was like, who turned Caroline? And the answer was Damon. And it was like, no, it wasn't. It was Catherine. And I'm just sitting here like so angry because it was like, and then I was just like, oh, and I went down to the comments, and sure enough, people, I mean, fact checking the hell out of it. But again, hundreds of comments. And I mean, it is kind of tempting to do the same, but I don't want to contribute to that.
Yeah. This is why I struggle with social media so much.
I mean, I can see how it can get you tons of engagement, but I just feel like it's hate engagement
Yeah.
because people are just there to correct you. And I don't want
And
to
that's
be.
not the energy I wanna put out into the world.
Exactly. It's like, I just don't want to be bothered with that. But yeah, it's just like, it's so aggravating because, yeah, I have to go through, if I have to waste my time, I don't read too many articles anymore, but, watching a video or there's very few websites that I'll go to that I trust because of the fact that there's just so much misinformation or, I feel like a lot of times people make things a lot more complicated than it needs to be. Or there's this low key, there's full out fear mongering, but then there's this low key fear mongering where they're talking about maybe there's a keyword that's popular. So they're talking about the benefits of something, but then they're backing away and talking about, but be really careful because, and it's just like, stop it. Just stop. You're driving me crazy. How's your hand there?
Yeah, it's being used as a chew toy. So I will say Nessie and I have been doing this online training class, and we're actually in our second session of it, and it's a pattern games class. It's called Control Unleashed, if anybody's familiar with that training model. And it's so much fun, and we have to video all of our games, and that's our homework each week. So I'm going to try to share some of our homework videos and
Very nice.
um, there's one that I really love that's called the chair game. I'll have to see if I can post that one because I love that we did this with Neno because he had to go to the chiropractor and he had to go to the vet. And, he gets very anxious in new places. And you start with either a chair or something in the environment that's like home base. And you start with putting treats on it until they're comfortable taking treats there. And then you move and put the treat somewhere else and they go and take it there. And then you come back to home base. And then you can go to a different part of the room and then come back to home base. And so it gets your dog to investigate, or at least in Nino's case, because he's more anxious. It's like he can go investigate like different corners of the room and get a
Mm.
treat and then come back to home base where we are. And we lost him a little bit at the vet office. He was getting a little too freaked out and wasn't able to keep it going, but it worked really, really well at the chiropractor's office.
Oh, good.
I was so proud of him, and so I'm just really loving having these things that we can do when, with Nessie, we're working on when there's things that are distracting in the environment, it'll give her something to do. And with Nino, it's helping him get used to strange environments. So
Yeah, I've been really lucky because although Bella is an anxious dog, the places we go, she knows everyone. So the vet's office, I know the manager, I know one of the front desk people. The vets are really great. A lot of the people, our friends, go to the same vet. So it's, a place. And I think the first time we went, two of her siblings were there.
Aw.
So it was just like, so I think it has a nice memory for her. But there are other places that and, just, as our work continues, if I can get her to focus more on me than on what could possibly be happening upstairs that's making all this noise, it would be very helpful. Yeah. I took Apollo to a brewery Sunday. I go every Sunday with friends, and I decided to grab Apollo and bring him with me.
Was he in all his social butterfly glory?
Yes, he was howling and yipping through the door. So it was just sort of like this announcement of Apollo's here.
Oh, I love
And
it.
there are like every dog. And it's interesting because there are some dogs. He usually gets along with all the dogs, but there's one dog, Tommy, who's so sweet. He's a gigantic golden retriever. Just absolutely. He's a year old. He weighs 100 pounds, and so he's not finished growing.
Oh, wow.
And he is a beast of a dog, and just a big. It's like if you had a gigantic stuffed bear, that's Tommy. I mean, he's just so full of love. And Apollo liked him when he was little, a little bit, but then the excitement of it, because once Tommy realizes, oh, you like me? Now I'll really be myself. And that was the energy was a little too much for Apollo, so he didn't want to be around him. Now that Tommy is really big, Apollo tolerates him in small doses. So I'm hoping that at some point in time they'll be great friends and they'll play together. But yeah, it was a ton of dogs, and only two of them didn't want to mess with Apollo, and they're like they never want to mess with Apollo. Nope, three, because Daryl wasn't interested in Apollo either. So, and I love it when people name their dogs names like Daryl.
I love Oh, you know what else we did? We
What's that?
did an intro to barn hunt
Ooh,
class.
nice. How was it?
So it was not in a barn.
Oh.
The intro class was just at, like, a training facility, but they have rats that they actually raise around dogs so that the rats are totally used to dogs coming up and putting their nose in their
Oh,
face
okay.
and things, and they're in, like, a very sturdy, secure cage that's, like, double wrapped with, like, mesh, so that, like, the dog cannot get to the rats at all.
Mhm.
But so they start out with just having the dogs come up and sniff the rats, and, I was actually surprised. I was, like, a little afraid with Nessie that, like, her prey drive would kick in and,
Yeah.
but I think because the rats were just in this little thing and they were just kinda they weren't, like, running across the room. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like it's that motion thing that, like, triggers her. So but, she had so much fun sniffing it out, and of course, she's done nose work, and so we, like, went into, like, a different part, like, a different room, and she had to find them in the room, and of course, she had fun with that. She was just sniffing everything in the room, and she's like, "Oh, check this out." Oh, but then when she got a treat, she's like, "Oh, that's what you want me to do. Okay, I got this." And, and then they, like, created, like, a scent trail where they kinda, like, dragged them, like, kinda through the training building and, like, kind of hid them, like, all the way in, like, kind of a back corner of the building, and so she was right on following that trail and, like, ran right to 'em, and, I was very proud of her, so I the springtime, we might be driving up to PA to do some classes. It's more just for fun kind of
Yeah,
thing, but
that's so good.
I like having opportunities for her to do stuff like that, and I didn't even get to tell you this yet. We are going to Johns Hopkins next month, and Nessie is going to be part of a canine cognition study that is taking place at Johns Hopkins. And so I'm really excited about that. They have them play different games and things to like study their thought patterns and their problem
Yeah.
solving and stuff. So I'm very excited to get to do that.
Oh my god, that sounds like heaven. I wish we had stuff like that here. I know we do have the sniff classes. I should look into that because I think well, actually, for years and years ago, I was gonna look into them for Zoe because I thought she would get a kick out of it, but never did. And so I should really I know I have some scent tins somewhere in this house too. I didn't even know that's what they were. Someone had to tell
Oh,
me. So I just like, oh, well, this is interesting. I don't know what it is. Toss it to the side. And so I was like, no, those are scent tins. And I was like, ew, ew. But yeah.
TV talk. I know we just have a
Okay.
couple minutes. Have you ever seen Bad Sisters on Apple TV?
Okay, so I saw the preview for it, but I wasn't sure.
Oh my god, you have to watch it. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my
Okay,
god.
okay. I'm so bad. I haven't even gotten into the second season of what is it? The psychiatrist one.
Shrinking.
Drinking, thank you. I still need to get into the second season of that.
Yeah, I did watch that, and I watched another one also. I watched if people are Bad Sisters is Irish, and then I actually watched another show on Netflix called I think it's called Bodkin, on Netflix, and that also takes place in Ireland. And it's like this group of investigative podcasters who are like trying to create this podcast about something spooky that happened in this town 20 years ago, but like everybody has their secrets.
Okay.
Also,
I'll check. I like that.
I've apparently been watching a lot of stuff filmed in Ireland lately.
Oh, I like that. I haven't been watching anything new. I've been going back to old shows and then remembering why I stopped watching them. So,
Oh, and No Good Deed. That's the other one. That's on Netflix. That is Ray Romano
oh
and
yes, okay. The
Phoebe from
woman from
Friends.
yeah, from
Yeah.
Friends.
And it also has a ton of other amazing people you're gonna recognize, and it's by the people who did Dead to Me, which,
Mm,
it has, like, similar vibes, I would say.
mhm.
The storyline is nothing alike, but, like, I feel like the vibes are the same. And, yeah, I binged through that, like, I think in a day or 2.
Okay. Okay, well, I have 3 shows that I can get into. Yay. Tried to watch that new movie on Apple TV with George Clooney and Brad Pitt,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just felt like George Clooney and Brad Pitt got a call and said, "We'll give you." They backed up a truck and dumped some money in the yard, and they were like, "Okay," and then they just showed up and just and I'm just like, I would rather just watch Ocean 11. I mean, I couldn't finish it. I don't know if it was good or bad. I just couldn't get into it. It was just sort of like, do you guys wanna be here? That's
Is it very funny? I will binge through an entire season of show, but to sit down and watch a movie, I'm like, "Ugh."
Yeah, it's just like, I will go back and watch old movies and I don't mean like old, black and whites, but just movies that were pre-pandemic, I should say. There are tons of movies like, I think over the holidays, I watched, Ghostbusters several times. Lately, I've been on a Mummy kick, so I've been watching The Mummy over and over again. In fact, I had to call and get something done about my Hulu subscription, and one of the things where they validate who you are was name a few things that you've watched recently, and I was just like, "I've watched The Mummy a disturbing amount of times," and I was quiet for a while, and he was like, "Yep, I do see that here." So FYI, someone is paying attention to it's being tracked, what we're doing.
Oh, have you been keeping up with Will Trent?
I have. The last episode I saw, the female cop got her job back.
Did you see the episode where he was talking about giving his dog the probiotic?
I don't I think I did, but I don't remember it.
I think it was the first episode back, from this new part of the season, and he was, like, giving Betty a probiotic or something for her microbiome, and I was, like, laughing, like, "Look how mainstream we are."
I know. Apollo's sitting here looking at me because I told him he can go with me. You wanna go? Well, we're gonna cut this one short, folks, because I have to go pick up dog food, and I'm taking Apollo with me.
We're gonna do some news work.
Have fun.
Good night.